Hi there, it's Brett from Marlon. Going to walk you through the install of a PUTCO adapter on a 2023 or 2024 Super Duty. So this is the fancy box that you get it in, PUTCO's part number, Marlon's part number. Inside the box, if you've had adapters before or you've seen on some of our videos, some of them there's only one piece to it. This particular one, there's three pieces to it. There's a piece that actually goes in each side of your tail light, so you have to drop the tail lights to click it in. So there's the piece that clicks into the back side of your 7-pin, and then there's one more piece that connects to that piece, and to this piece, that's what actually goes to the deck. It probably might sound and look a little confusing, but it's very straightforward. It's actually easier than the old the adapters that we had to actually plug into the wiring harnesses in the frame rail. You get everything you need in the box, other than grab yourself a few zap straps just to zap the wires up in out of the way. And we highly recommend using some dielectric grease on your flat 4 connectors. There's one underneath, and then there's one where the deck is going to connect, and this will just help for grounding issues and any corrosion that can possibly get in there. So the tabs are actually in here on the edge of the tail light itself, and they actually pull this out after you loosen them off. Okay, so when you pop the tail light off, on this particular model, this is a platinum. There's 2 different wiring adapters, and I don't want to get confusing, but some of the new trucks have LED lights in them, and some of them have halogen lights. And the particular model is a platinum with the LEDs in it. So you simply just disconnect the tail light, and the adapter itself comes with, basically the male and the female version of this, and we're simply just plugging it in place, and it's going in line, and it's going to get plugged back into there. So I'm going to run the wiring up underneath the truck, and then we'll come back to this. Okay, when you get the adapter down underneath the truck, it's best to route the wiring so you're kind of hiding it from any road debris or damage or flying stones or anything. So putting it up in the spare tires right up in there, and you can see the trailer hitch. As long as you kind of wire it in through there, there's a spot on both sides of the Fords. There's an opening on the frame rail to go over top. And then once you feed the wire through there, it's very well protected up in there. And then when you get over to directly underneath where the tail light is, you can actually see the opening at the bottom of the tail light, and you can push the wire, the connection end right up into that, and then it'll go right into where it's needed. Same thing on the driver's side. Run the wiring up over the frame rail and then into that opening on the bottom of the tail light that again you can see from the bottom. And when you push it up in there, you can just connect the tail light into that. Okay, once you got the ends of the adapter up into the tail light opening, then go ahead and connect the tail light, basically just the reverse of what you did to undo it. The adapter itself has the female version to plug into the tail light, and then you'll plug in the male side of the adapter into the factory wiring harness for the tail light. Then it's just a matter of pushing the wires back down into the hole and pushing the tail light back into place, making sure the detent pins are lined up, and then snapping it into place, and then putting the bolts back in as well. And you just repeat the same process on the other side. Okay, so now we're going to deal with the second section, and that's the one that deals with the 7-pin on the back of the truck. So on the back side of the 7-pin on all OEMs, they're held in by 2 steel or metal tangs. You simply just push those tangs together. You'll hear them kind of pop, and then just wiggle. Like you can see me wiggling with my right hand. You got to twist that thing a little bit because it is indexed in the opening, and then that 7-pin will actually pull right through. Then it's a 2-piece. So there's a main wiring harness that plugs into the actual connector itself. There's a little tab on there. The gray section, you actually have to slide away from the 7-pin itself. Once it slides up out of the way, then there's a detent pin you can push, and then just wiggle the 2 sections apart. Then again, the 7-way adapter is a male, female as well. On that side, it'll be the male side that gets plugged into that part of the truck, and then the female side will get plugged into the 7-pin. The little single wire you see there that I'm kind of moving out of my way is the reverse light that'll get connected in directly to the deck itself. And now I've just put through, backfeed the wire back into the hole. And again, this is indexed, so you're going to have to just kind of turn this to the proper way and find the opening. And then once you get the right spot, it just pops back into place. And those detent metal springs on the back side, you'll hear them pop back into place, and then it's done. And now what you see hanging down here is the flat 4 from the very first section of the adapter that we put in that connected the 2 taillights. So this is the one that will get plugged into the factory wiring harness for the deck itself. You're going to see the other end of that, which on the driver box, there's green writing on there. It says 2 trailer and 2 vehicle. 2 vehicle is the one that I have on my left hand. That's the flat 4 that's going to get connected to the deck. We do suggest using dielectric grease on these flat 4 connectors just to stop any corrosion and any possible grounding issues down the road. And the reverse wire, or the single wire, gets connected to the single wire brake wire that comes off of section 1 that goes into the tail light. Single wires, which are the brake actuator wires, clipped into here. So the tail light that goes to the left and the right hand side has a flat 4 on it. So you plug in the flat 4 to there, and then once you get that put into place, there's a fair amount of extra wire there. You kind of got to coil that stuff up and find a place to hide it. There's also that driver box on that third section as well, and that you want to keep protected. So I usually run that over to the passenger side of the hitch bar, and I zap strap that to there, and then the wires kind of come back to the driver's side. And once you bundle those all up in there, you want to make sure that you're leaving enough room that when you want to take your deck out at some point, it's just a matter of going underneath there and disconnecting the flat 4 and the white reverse wire that comes off the deck. And that will allow you to pull the deck out of the truck easily and leave the adapter in place. There's also a protective cover for the flat 4 that you can put on when you do that. Okay, so once you get your adapter done and you got everything ready to go, you should be able to just fire your truck up and get full functions of the light. So this is just showing running lights, and I'll start it up and go through the full functions. Left signal, right signal, brake, and then that beautiful 6500 lumen reverse light that really comes in handy in the evening and at night when you're loading and unloading.